Welcome back to another video on my channel. I'm Arzu Khurana, a wildlife photographer, and today we are going to talk about data segregation. Right now we are in Tikala Forest Rest House and I came back from a very successful safari. I was all about to take my backup, and in that moment I realized that this question you guys have been asking from me a lot of times. How do I segregate my data? How do I take the backups? What do I name the folders? How do I divide the data between them? So I'm going to take you through the process of me copying the data in my drive so that you can take a couple of tips from there, and it might help you when you're there taking backups of multiple cards from your shoot. Alright, before we start, one very important tip. Take out all the cards from your cameras and put them in one particular place. That's very important because at times what we do is we pick out one card, we put it in the reader, we copy the card, we put it back, and then we format. Now this can cause a lot of data loss because at times we are confused that whether we took the backup of this particular card or not, then double checking and all, a lot of waste of time. So instead of doing that, take out all the cards all together first and keep them together, and then gradually pick one card, copy the card, and put it back in the camera. Do not format at that particular time. Copy all the cards first, and that is the right time to format all the cards together. Take the backup together, keep the backup together, and then format the cards together. Now here are all my cards, and I'm going to use the Sony card reader for the backups. And usually on my trips I travel with a couple of extra SSDs. So here I have a 4TB, a 1TB, and a couple of internal drives also. But the Tikala folder is in the 4TB drive, so this is what we are going to use for today's backup. Alright, I've connected the drive here. The name of the drive is Extreme SSD. So the first thing I do is I make folders as per the years. Now here is 2021, 2022, and 2023. We're gonna enter 2023, which has month-wise folders. Now, since we are in January, it has the first folder called January. Entering inside January, then you will have the names as per the destinations. For example, this is Corbett, the next trip is going to be Kanha, so on and so forth. Now in Corbett, then the division will be as per the zones. You can make it as per the zones, you can make it as per the dates, whatever suits you better, and depending on how many trips you're doing, how many safaris you're doing, according to that. Now here, I was first in Bijrani, then in Tikala. I might proceed to Jharna now. That's why I've divided the folders accordingly. There's Bijrani, Tikala, and then there's Ninja 5. Because Ninja 5 I'm going to copy at the end of the entire trip because I have a SSD which can hold that much of data, and I've not been using Ninja 5 a lot. So Ninja 5 has been separate in Corbett because Ninja 5 will be having all the data for the Corbett entire trip. Now in Tikala, then it'll be as per the date. So today is 10th. So I'm gonna name it as 10th January 23. Once we enter 10th January 23, now the division is going to be as per the morning or evening safari. Now here you have to decide whether you take the backup at the end of the day or you take the backup after every safari. Once you decide, stick to that particular method, even if there's not a lot of shoot, or maybe there are times when the data is not that much to be backed up, then also stick to this mechanism because it avoids a lot of confusion. I have a habit of taking the backup after every safari. So here I'm going to name it as morning safari. And just as an example to show you guys, here we go, evening safari. Now, of course, evening safaris folder I'm going to fill after the evening safari. Here in morning safari, there will be folders with the name of cameras that I've been using. So Alpha 1 has been my primary camera. FX3 has been the one for the videos. ZV10 is the one in which I'm shooting right now. And then finally, what do we have? A9 Mark II as my secondary body. Now here, there's another important thing. Some people have this habit of naming the folders as per the lenses, but I keep on switching the lenses between different cameras. For example, at times 200-600 is on Alpha 1, at times it's on FX3. So that's why I name them according to the cameras, because cameras are the same. Now in Alpha 1, I use two cards. So I'm going to name it as C1 and C2. what I do is I usually make the folders first so that I can simultaneously pick up, so that once I'm done with the folders, I can pick up one card and copy it to avoid confusion. Now, once I've done this, I know that this is a particular folder which is empty, which means I've not copied that particular card in the folder yet, and this avoids a lot of confusion and data loss. Now, A92, there's only one card, so I'm gonna name it as C1 only. Then FX3, there are two cards, C1 and C2. There you go. And ZV10, there's only one card, which I am going to copy after we are done filming this video. So now I have all the folders. I'm going to take you through the folders quickly. So the first one is as per the year. Now in 2023, I have January. Under January, I have Cobbett and Kanha. Under Cobbett, I have Bijrani, Dhikala. Under Dhikala, I have it as per the dates. And under the 10th January, I have morning and evening safari. In the morning safari, I'm going to have A1, A92, FX3 and ZV10, the name of the cameras. And in A1, then it will be C1, C2. And if I'm using more cards, C3, C4 accordingly. So that's how I segregate my data. Now I have made the folders. I'll pick up the card one by one and I'll start copying the data. This process is going to be time consuming. So thank you so much for joining me here. And if you have any questions regarding anything related to wildlife photography or wildlife photography, I'm just a comment away.